Uh, I can't. I can't see with this thing on. Probably should have watched this before I put it on. Hey everybody, Raphael. Just kidding. It's Greco. I am here talking to you live, obviously, late on a Sunday night, so probably in bed getting ready for the work week. But instead, I'm spending it talking with you guys, which is better than getting rest, right? Rest when I'm dead. That's what they say. Oh, I got a comment already. Hi. How's it going? um, so I want to jump right into it because I know these live videos tend to go way super duper long, which is fine. Um, I'm having fun. Hopefully you are. So we'll see. Let's see how this goes. But I have a lot to get to. For those of you that follow me on Instagram, you kind of already know what this is about, which is a great thing. So just jumping right into it. A few days ago, I got word from my friend at the last minute, like, hey, I hear about this auction that's happening in the area. Um, they posted some pictures of what they're selling, and part of what they are selling were toys, vintage toys, toys that I'm into. So they had everything. They had Ninja Turtles, they had Star Wars, they had Transformers, G.I. Joe, Mask, like any 80s, early 90s toy line they kind of dabbled in. Thundercats, Voltron. So that was all there. And I was really excited because, well, number one, I've never been to an auction before. So I had no idea how this was going to go. One thing I was kind of bumming about was that, my friend who told me about it couldn't make it. And, I would have liked to, being kind of a novice at this whole auction thing, I would have liked to have somebody kind of in my corner that, you can kind of bounce ideas off of as, things are getting hot and heavy. You can be like, oh, should I bid more? Should I not? What's the game plan here? But whatever, I couldn't pass this opportunity up. I don't know. Going into it, I was excited, but at the same time, I didn't really think I'd walk away with too much because I know it's kind of a crapshoot. Like, I figured the area that it was in, it's kind of known for. It's right near Raynham, which is here in Massachusetts. There's a huge flea market there, so lots of toy vendors. So I figured those guys would, be all over this thing. I know some people own other like thrift shops or collectible shops in the area, so I figured that word would get around. So I would have a lot of competition, and everything that I've seen out of auctions from other YouTubers or other people that kind of show off their wares. There definitely seems to be like a premium as far as like what things sell for, and then on top of that, a lot of these auction houses will put a literal premium on top. So you have to pay your bidding price, the state sales tax if there is one, and then a percentage on top of that, so that the auctioneers get their cut. One cool thing about this auction was, though, there was no premium. So what you bid is what you paid plus tax. So for me, someone that doesn't really want to do like math on the fly, that's amazing. So I went down there, got there an hour early, got to scope out the scene. Things were looking great. I obviously had my eye on the Transformers lot. Uh, Again, not to get too optimistic, but I was kind of down a little bit because I overheard somebody saying like, "Oh, my friend put in an absentee bid on the Transformers lot," and I was like, "Oh, here we go already. I'm already going to be outbid." That was the main reason for me going down there, and it's going to be over in like 5 seconds. So that was my mindset going into it, but hopefully. Obviously, I wanted to still stick around, be part of the experience, see how fun it was going to be, and hopefully walk away with something. Because I really put some big numbers on top of like what I would be willing to go to get some of these things. And then in addition to working for my own benefit, I was thinking of my friend who's also a collector and some of the things that he would want. So going into it, I have my receipt down here, so I'm actually going to go down the line of how things kind of played out and show you what I got. First, this is my number, lucky number 18. I say lucky because I not have any kind of past experience with the number 18, but You'll see why. But that was my number. Got that. Was flashing this a lot throughout the night, and yeah, I'm just gonna get into it. So the first thing that came up was it is it showing up as 81 on your end? I don't know. To me, it says 18. I don't know. Mirror effect. Um, so the first lot that came up was a Ninja Turtles lot, TMNT. And this was like a pretty big lot, right? It had a ton of figures, loose figures, some accessories, some vehicles, things like that. And I know, in my mind, I'm like Turtles. Um, it's not really, they're not really the big money makers or something you should be spending a lot of money on, unless you get into like the big play sets or like the Technodrome, things like that. That's gonna push you back a little bit, but try to be a little just budget conscious when it comes to turtles. So I looked at this lot and I was like, all right, maybe I'll throw like $20 at it. So I didn't want to get too antsy. I wanted to kind of figure out. Let's see, Ninja Turtles part figures with worthy any. Sorry, I'm having trouble kind of deciphering what that comment means. If you're asking like, is it worth to like part piece together Ninja Turtles? For most of the loose figures, I would say no. It's unless you're like super duper patient, but like, oh yeah. Sorry, again, I don't mean when I say moneymaker, I don't mean to come off like I'm this like flipper reseller thing. Like obviously, first and foremost, I'm a collector, so things I want to keep for myself, pass it on to some of my buddies, and then obviously duplicates, things that are left over. The reason why I flip is just to kind of reinvest in the hobby. So I don't mean to come off like, no, I'm not a bad man. I like toys. And I like the money and eBay sales they bring in too. Oh, what you gonna do? You gonna stop watching? Will you unsubscribe? No. Anyways, so Ninja Turtles. I was like, basically, I didn't want to get too crazy with the turtles because I know, like, again, a lot of times when you're buying them, it's almost worth to just buy them complete because they're not really, not valuable on some levels, especially when you're talking about the figures and stuff. So, hey, retro, I don't know. On my end, it's fine. It could be you, could be me. Hopefully, it's just you. But I am just streaming off my cell phone, so who knows, right? So, okay, so Ninja Turtles, I'm looking at, I'm thinking like, all right, I'm not going to go more than $20 for this lot. So the auction starts, and I'm kind of feeling it out, and I can tell, like, we already got a pretty patient crowd, right? Like, it's, the auctioneer is always like, oh, we have so and so this, and I could tell, she didn't really know the toys too much. So she was like, oh, we got some, help me out here, guys. Like, we got some turtle things. What are they? Ninja Turtles. So, um, she she didn't really know the in and outs of the toys, which is fine. Not everybody can be an expert on everything. I'm not, and I collect the things. So she always kind of started at $10. And she was like, all right, can we open up the bidding at $10? And then I noticed that, like, for most of the time, people weren't like jumping at the opportunity. So I was like, all right, so good crowd. We're not going to go all crazy. Let's work together for the benefit of us all. So if nobody kind of went at 10, she would go to 5, and then finally she would go like, who wants to? Any interest? Like, who wants to start this off at $2? And hey, Comic Lover. So she, we finally got to that $2 level with Ninja Turtles, and pretty sure I was the first bid. I was like, oh, I threw it up, and she's like, all right, $2 here, $2 there, whatever. We have three, and she was just going down the line until finally we hit the number 8. I was the bidder, and that was it. Sold to number 18. So I got this whole lot, which I'm about to show you, for $8. And this is one I haven't shown on Instagram yet, so this will be totally new to everyone that follows me. But we got I went ahead and I put them in like bags and bags. So I'll just show you kind of like the sneak preview. But we got like 2 big Ziploc bags there. 2 more Ziploc bags. We got some role-playing things, obviously. So I just start, I don't know, just start whipping out some individual figures. And I'm not going to pretend to know all the names of all these guys, but I started to catalog these and see what pieces went to where. But maybe we can play a game in the comments as we go along. But this PandaCon, right? As I just dropped them on the floor. That didn't come as there. This is Samurai Leo. Do you ever come across 80s G.I. Joe? Funny that you mentioned 80s G.I. Joe. Yes, I went and I found, as part of this auction, a lot of cool G.I. Joe stuff. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen what I got. Unfortunately, I will talk to it, but unfortunately, I don't have that stuff with me today because I kind of already got together with my buddy, and we kind of like divvied up the lot a little bit, and we so he took some of that stuff home to kind of piece more of it together. So I'll have to just talk to it in this video, but if you want to see like a picture of it, just go to my Instagram, grecofabulous, and you'll see it there. This is the sewer surfing, right? Mike is obviously losing a limb there, but he's an amphibian, so it'll grow back. Super Shredder. Let's see. This is Donatello. Not the regular Donatello. What does he do? Oh, this is like the head popping one. So his hides in his shell a little bit. Squeezes legs. There he goes. Let's see if I can do it. No, not quite. Yes, sorry, I missed the name, but I'll be at Boston Comic Con, and yeah, I mean, if you want to take a picture with me, sure, I'd be flattered. I take great selfies, so just when you're born with natural looks like this, it just comes easy, you know. Maybe he's born with it, maybe he's greco-fabulous. All right. What is this? Metalhead, the turtle robot guy. I should get one of him complete one day because I love robots and turtles, and just mashing them together seems like something I would totally be into. Have you live streamed flea markets? I haven't live streamed. I tried to do it once at a Comic-Con and it kind of failed. I don't know if it was because of like the Wi-Fi in the building. I haven't tried a live stream of a flea market just because I don't know if like the logistics behind it would work or not, because I mean in mine it takes like a few hours to get through. It's indoors and outdoors. And I don't know if like the quality would be good through a cell phone. I know once I tried to do it through like a GoPro camera streaming to like a phone app just trying to get like a better angle. And that didn't really work out. So I would love to do it. I just have to, but I want it to like look good and, be, a good quality where it's not going to be buffering or freezing all the time for you guys. So if I could pull it off, I would, but for now I'm just going to stick with the GoPro filming it. That way I can get the higher quality stuff and just edit it down the line. But I love the idea of doing like an actual live broadcast, so I'll try to look into that some more. Here we got like a basketball playing, hey Nerd Cave, basketball playing Donatello. And some of these, I'm not going to show all the accessories and stuff, but some of these I did get some accessories as well. I forget the actual... Oh yeah, that's right. He is wearing 23, huh? I didn't even realize that. Thanks for connecting the dots. What's his, like, Khazar or something? I literally just looked up, a lot of these today, so the actual name should be pretty fresh in my memory, but feel free to fill in the blanks. Raza, there we go. This is another Raphael. I think he connects to, which I don't have, like a little sewer grate. And he's supposed to like do like break dancing or something. Here we got Astronaut Raphael. Nice. Glad to hear I'm not buffering anymore. I mean, it is possible. Live streams are tough. There's always, I do a lot of that stuff for my actual job, so I know it's always hard to figure out like where the problem lies in. But I'm glad you got yours figured out. Here we got Raphael as an astronaut. They just pumped out these things. Like literally, they like made them into everything. Here's undercover Donatello. This little secret agent stuff. This is a loved Donatello, missing a limb right there. What's his deal? I'm not sure what. I think he's supposed to like. He's wind up, so I think he's supposed to run. I don't know how well it's gonna look. Looks a little funny. We'll have to get him a prosthetic, like I was about to say Pistorius, but that's probably not a good reference anymore, right? Then we got Magician, Raphael the Magician. Got a little rabbit in his hat. Whoa. Wow. What is the little Asian looking figure you have next to Night Trap? I haven't. Is something Asian behind me? Oh, yeah. This is I picked this up when I went to San Francisco. It was just some like I don't know if it's like a kabuki. They had a bunch of these things. I just thought it was I visited some like Japanese like tea garden, getting all zen, you know. And I just picked this up. I always thought it's I love the overly cute kind of design. I forget the name of this. I actually just watched The Toys That Made Us on Netflix season 2, and they did a whole episode on like Hello Kitty, which I'm not really part of that world, but they kind of had I don't know if this really fits into it, but that kind of like oversimplified, cutesy. Um, hey Seth and all your aliases. Oh yeah, I did see your comment on the G1 stuff. I mean, Holy Grail stuff for that, it's always going to be Fortress Maximus, but I mean, that's not something. If you come upon that and like give me first dibs, you'd be like, not that you already aren't, but you'd be like, I don't even know how I could repay you in any way. But that's not really like a realistic thing to ask of anyone, even if you're like subscribed and follow me and stuff. So yeah, I just bought this at like a Japanese tea garden. It's not really like a toy relation. Just thought it was cute. Love Japanese culture. Would love to go to Japan someday. Um, but I'm like a thrifty traveler, so I would totally like just sleep in one of those pods, like, and just like sleep under the neon. Like, I'm not. I don't need the frugal. I don't need like a Four Seasons Japan or anything. And just I look at this and I'm like, I show it to my wife, and they're like, "This is what I want you to be." I'm just kidding. JK. So I just thought it was cute and kind of represented Japanese culture, which I tend to enjoy from time to time. Then we got Slash here. Let's fix him. There we go. Still a little. So there's Slash. This was the. I'll answer that question in a second, Big Sunday. He has the purple belt variant, which I didn't realize. I guess that's a little more rare. And there were just some more accessories that went with some of those figures too. Got a Krang Walker, no Krang though. So that was like bag 1. I'm not going to waste time putting them back in the bags, but it is getting to me a little bit like, oh, I just organized them. But for the sake of this show, we got to keep going. Animes. Other ones I've watched. I mean, I've watched Akira. I've watched. I was big into like Vampire Hunter D back in the day. I also watched the sequel. I think it's Bloodlust. I don't know what else is there. I'm drawing a blank. I feel like I like. I mean, some of that like Studio Ghibli stuff. Yeah, man. Sundays at the flea market. That's what the place to be. Like My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away, all that Miyazaki stuff. So I actually haven't watched Cowboy Bebop. I know. Should I? Let me know. All right, so just moving along, we got Donatello here. Let's see. Not a soft head, but oh no, this is the one where the shell opens up. So it kind of has like a little hidden compartment in there. And a lot of these I had as a kid. I'm just gonna end up with a pile of turtles scattered throughout my room. General Trag here. Geno Cyber. That sounds right up my alley. Does that have anything to do with like cyborgs and I don't know replicants and like all that stuff? Like stuff like that is really cool. Although for some reason I wasn't really huge into Blade Runner. I don't know. That's kind of surprising. Didn't see the new one, but the first one I was kind of like, I don't know. Doesn't really work for me. Although I'm pretty excited about that Detroit Being Human game that I haven't played yet, but that's right up my alley. Not only does it have that like world that I'm into, but that interactive storytelling type of game, I'm all about that. Here's Firefighter Donatello. What year are those turtles where the shell opens up? Hold on, where did I just put it? The trademark on it is 1990. So it was branded 1990. Although I feel like when I did my research, it was always like a year later that it fell into the release date. Like so, if it was branded like 90, it actually came out in 91 or something. That might not be true, but at least on some of those sites like FigureRealm.com where I did some of my research, that's what seemed to be the case as far as how they organized it. Just moving along, we got Ace Duck. So a lot of like crazy characters that were in the Turtles universe. Here's one, Rat King. And again, for my collection, I'm not gonna collect every single one of them. There's just too many characters and too many variants that I just frankly don't care about. So I'm definitely gonna just want the like original Turtles, soft heads if I can get them. Some of the original bad guys like Shredder and the Foot Clan, and then some of the more iconic bad guys. Like I already got. I don't think you can. Oh, maybe you can. Right there, Krang and his android body. What else? Like Baxter Stockman. I'll keep Rat King. Rat King's one I'll hang on to. Rocksteady Bebop. Like some of those more iconic. April O'Neil. Those things. I think what I'm more into are like the vehicles and play sets that I'll kind of branch out a little bit more, but not all over the place. Here is Raphael, kind of Universal Studios. So this is Raphael as the Mummy. Yeah, see, you can find turtles for cheap. They don't go crazy for turtle figures. Like if you find loose ones like this, like don't pay more than like $2 or $3, unless you know something that I don't, and it's like a kind of a rare one that I'm not familiar with. So here's Leonardo as a hockey player. So see, like they're just like spitting these things out. We probably have body shadows, cyborg alien thing that kills a lot of people. Exactly. That's it. That's my interest is piqued. And here is Leonardo as a football player. Got his helmet. His helmet actually is removable. Just like that. And let's see. This one is an original. This is Michelangelo, obviously, 1988. Yep. This one is not a soft head. So for those of you that don't know, they made like early on in production the soft heads, the heads you can actually like squeeze. Those are like the very first run of Ninja Turtles. And then later on they switched over to hard heads. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it was I'm sure it always comes down to like cost, right? Oh yeah, man! Thanks for stopping by. And definitely, if you feel like it, check me out later. It's fine. I didn't get to read the whole message. I know you said something about GI Joe in there. But yeah, I'm assuming the Switch has something to do with like production costs or something like that. But yeah, if you can get the early ones with the soft heads that you can squeeze, those are like the ones you want to get. Napoleon, right? Napoleon, like it's a play on Napoleon Bonaparte. I don't know. You guys can help me out if you know this guy. Does it look better when I hold it over here? It looks kind of a little blown out when I have it on the left side. Here's the Ryan Lochte Raphael, Olympic swimmer. Could have gone Phelps, but I don't know. He looks more of like a I don't know what word I want to use to describe him to compare him to Ryan Lochte. Yeah, Napoleon Bonaparte. Is that true or is that just a guess? Sounds like totally a turtle name they would use. Scott Pilgrim. Yes, I have read Scott Pilgrim. I actually saw the movie first. Loved the movie. Loved how the story translated into like the visual medium and like all the little nuances and references to like video games, like even like down to like the sound effects and blah blah blah, and how visual of a movie it was. Loved it. Read the story after, and I actually, uh, it's one of those rare instances where I actually liked the movie better than the books. Um, not that the book there's anything wrong with the books. Let's see. Anything collectible comics rise the price seems like a bubble. Trying to get out of buying. Let me just finish this bag. We got leather. I think this is leatherback, right? Kind of like Crocodile Dundee. But he's actually a crocodile? Whoa! I see what you did there, Playmates. Or Mirage Studios. 3/4 cents for $2. Oh, that's cool. I mean, the talking one? Leatherhead. There we go. Leatherface. Did I say Leatherface? Like Texas Chainsaw Massacre? So I don't know if I'm like the right person to speak on like a a lot kind of like a collectibles explosion bubble in the comic book world. I've kind of been removed from that for a little bit. I still read like trades and stuff and things I get from the library, but I'm not really like pulling single issues. But I think just like overall, just like there's definitely been an uprising in approaching all of these hobbies from preservation and getting the highest value kind of thing, which is it does kind of I don't want to say ruin, but for those that like are in it for the genuine like interest in these mediums and the toys, like it's really disheartening that you like a lot of times you have a hard time like getting finding the stuff you really take super enjoyment in, because it really it kind of kills your drive when it seems like everybody out there is just trying to make a quick buck and like literally like slabbing everything, whether it's worth it or just all the prospects of is this going to be the next hot book? Is this going to be this is the all these like first appearances of secondary characters, like everything. It's just oversaturated, and I guess from a collector standpoint, it's kind of a bummer because it's getting really hard to just like from a pure collecting standpoint and getting like just joy out of having these things and reminiscing and chasing nostalgia. Like it's getting harder to do that. And again, like obviously I've sold things, so I'm not trying to be like a hypocrite here. They're I feel like as long as everyone's kind of taking care of each other, like, and those that are, it's always nice when those who are reselling know what they have. I know I get frustrated as a collector when I run into like a reseller that's like doesn't really do the research to figure out exactly what what it's worth, and they're just be like, oh no, I know this is a transformer. I know this is worth a lot of money. Like, it doesn't always work out that way. There's always it's in the finer details. So if you're just gonna be kind of like a lazy reseller, I kind of have a problem with that. But so I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, right? It's the world we live in. But I guess one of the cool things is when I come across like a situation like this where I kind of killed it, unexpectedly. I guess it makes me appreciate those moments and kind of brings me that sense of euphoria to you can't see it, but my level is like way up here. That sense of euphoria to like a whole nother level, and it just like reinvigorates you. So all the times you get beaten down by all those other not so great experiences, it really heightens this one. So again, in a perfect world, everyone would get what they want for a good price and blah blah blah, and you know, but whatever. Different. It's all different, right? So I don't know how coherent that was, but I guess that's my topic. Somebody mentioned Sega Dreamcast. Sega, love Sega. Growing up, Sega Genesis. We were like a Sega. I mean, we were a video game family. We had everything. We were spoiled, you know, Nintendo, Sega. Even had like a TurboGrafx 16. But definitely Sega overall. Like, I had Genesis, Sega CD, 32X, Saturn, Dreamcast. And I've actually been playing those a lot more recently. Let me just keep going with this and I'll think about favorite Dreamcast games. So this is Rocksteady. I'm not 100% sure if this goes with him. I know they made a variant that went with the Cheapskate little vehicle, which I actually have and I'll show you in a second, but I'm not 100%. But he is a soft head, I'm pretty sure. It's not a lot of wiggle room, but I'll show you on another figure. So this is like one of the first runs, if it is a soft head. Here we have Master Splinter. Let me just make him decent. I want this, keep this G-rated. Alright, so there's Splinter wearing his moo-moo. Again, he's a soft head, so these are the first. I'm kind of blocking it. See? I can squeeze it. So this is like the first run of figures. So I'm glad that a lot of these were in here. Here's Rocksteady, I think, or Bebop. I always get those guys confused, but again, he's another soft head. His aren't as... Oh, what's happening? He's possessed. He's not as soft compared to like the turtles, but you can squeeze him. We got Leonardo, has his belt, which is always very cool. And yep, he's a soft head too. So a lot of, I kind of lucked out on this one. Here's Donatello, soft head. So I'm getting a lot of the soft heads, which is awesome. I know I have some of these figures complete, so I will look into putting them on display shortly, whenever I can. And here's Donatello, also another Donatello soft head with his belt. Although the back of his belt looks like it's a little busted. And then I just have some random accessories in that bag. Some like blimp bombs, and some other thing. I have Splinter's belt in there. So I'm just going to throw those in the bag real quick because that wasn't a huge bag. Whew, look at that. Man, half an hour and I haven't even gotten through Turtles yet. Alright, so very last bag for Turtles for those of you that are patiently waiting for me to move on. This is the last one, but it's not full of figures. This one has a bunch of vehicles and some other cool things. This one's all tangled up, but this is like the parachute, the trooper thingy. So here you got a big old parachute. You throw like a figure in here, and then just like a game of Fortnite, you drop in. I can use that reference because I literally just tried Fortnite for the first time today. Actually, that's not true. I watched my wife try it. My wife's terrible at first-person shooters, so just seeing, she's always like the type that like points at the sky and spins around whenever she tries to shoot somebody. So it's kind of funny to watch her play that. But I will give it a shot. I will join that whole mess. I'm not seeing any comments coming through. I hope you guys still hear me, or maybe I put you all to sleep. Here is a turtle cycle, a little sidecar here. I don't know why I'm holding it upside down, like that's supposed to help you see it any easier. So there's that. Here's this that cheapskate thing I was telling you about. So it looks like it's supposed to, it's a land vehicle, so it's like a, it's literally like a, you know, like a skate right there. So you put your figure on there, and then it has this little, let's see what this does. How do I trigger it? There. So you can boot some of the clan right there. This was, well, there's a random playing card. This was, I looked it up. What's it called? Like the toilet taxi or something? It's literally like, it's really literally a vehicle made out of like a sink, like a shower drain. There's toilet paper back here. There's plungers in the front. So you pull it back, or what happened? Oh. If it was on the ground, this would happen. So you're missing that, and he's on a toilet right there. So creative things right there, and then just some random things here. Like here's some pizzas from the pizza shooter. So pretty cool lot. And then oh yeah, the last thing was, and one of the things that I'm really like actually most excited about, and that I kind of it totally brings me back to my childhood, was the role playing kits. They were called like battle something or other, but they're basically these things where you can, you role play, you play as a Ninja Turtle. So in like the Raphael kit, you would get this bandana that had a little nose attachment. You would try that on. Where'd you guys go? It's hard to demonstrate. There we go. So now I'm Raphael. But it also came with like knee pads. This is going to be a mixed lot because I don't have it complete, unfortunately, but it came with, there's a Leonardo one. Here is an elbow pad. So it came with knee pads, elbow pads. You would have a belt, and this would be like the belt buckle. So there's a Raphael belt buckle. Don't have the belt. And it also came with like their signature weapons, right? So luckily for me, I did get Leonardo's sword. Sorry, just reading Retro's thing. So it came with Leonardo's sword, which is really cool. So I definitely have memories of, kind of dressing up as the turtles. I'm pretty sure I had all of them. They came with like ninja stars too, and you just like dressing up and totally acting out your favorite Ninja Turtle, right? So for me, it was Raphael. So his came with the twin size. Donatello had the bow staff. So this is stuff that I really like to collect. I don't come upon it too often, but anything where you kind of like, because yeah, you can like buy the toys and kind of relive your childhood that way. But when you actually like attach like a toy to a specific memory in your childhood, like not only attaching it to the show and being a kid, but attaching it to like imagination and playing and kind of just reliving that. I think for me it's a much stronger impression, and that's why I love getting things like this, the whole role playing thing. So that was fun. So I wanted to talk to some of your comments. Yes, definitely. As I get older, I just throw knives everywhere. I'm definitely beyond the like party lifestyle. So I don't know if this makes me any cooler, but and I don't think it's like a negative thing. I don't think it's like, oh man, like here comes that midlife crisis, right? I don't think it's that at all. And I'm not trying to fill like a hole inside me. Um, it's just I don't know. It's just, and I don't know if this happens with everyone, but it's definitely something that I don't know. It just makes me feel good, and it's fun. And it's fun to share with my kids now. That might be some reasoning behind it, but like I got my kids playing with like my Ghostbusters Firehouse. I do have two, not to rub it in. But like yeah, they're playing Ghostbusters, listening to like the Ghostbusters theme song, and watching the cartoons. And right now, my kid has a G1 Transformers Ratchet in her bed, the ambulance guy. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just bridging the gap between my childhood and my kids. So bringing it up the cool way. So I don't know. I guess I don't know if I did a good job of like eloquently talking about why I do this, but I don't know. It just seems like the right thing for me to do at this time, and I'm sure at some point, not to get depressing. I'm sure the spark will kind of fizzle a little bit, and hopefully I don't have one of those like how have we got into this place type of moments. But maybe like going out and hunting and that sort of thing will kind of die down. But by then, I'll be all retired from my YouTube dollars. So it's, in and out, get exactly what I needed, and then just venture off into the sunset. Oh, man, I really wish I was bigger. I wish I was as big as I talk up myself. Anyways, and then, oh yeah, so Sega Dreamcast, right? So, what were some of my favorite games on there? I don't know about favorites, right? But I love that. Um, I just have vivid memories of when that system was launched on 9999. Like I remember I was in school, I was literally drawing like the Sega swirl, like on my like homework assignments and for the day, because that was like their big ad campaign. And I just remember running home and popping in Sonic Adventure for the first time and going through that first level where you're like running on the docks and getting like a whale behind you. It was just like the sense of speed and seeing Sonic in 3D, like a good 3D Sonic, and just like the graphics for the time were just so amazing and awesome. So that definitely stuck with me. That was a super vivid memory. Playing Soul Calibur with my friends for like hours and hours straight was just another awesome thing. It looked so good, like arcade quality. Um, it just and we just played the hell out of that. It was just like countless of rounds and rounds and rounds of that. It was just so cool. And then just some of the more unique games that unfortunately now that Sega doesn't publish their own hardware, you don't get anymore. Um, like Space Channel 5, Jet Grind Radio, Seaman. For those of you that collect games and play them will know what I'm talking about. Other of you will be like, "What did he just say?" Like kind of quirky games like that Sega was known for. That you don't really see anymore. Like video game companies don't really take chances anymore, which is why you kind of see the same thing over and over again. It's a little formulaic. So things like that I miss. Shenmue was awesome. Excited for 3. Excited for the HD remakes. And then I'm sure there's a ton more that like aren't coming to mind. Um, but yeah, so all that turtle stuff for $8. Not bad, huh? Not bad. But like I said, if you're going to a flea market, you're usually picking them up. Um, at least on like someone who's selling them individually, you're getting them for like $2 or $3 a figure, kind of loose. So I'm just gonna tidy up a little bit here just to keep some sense of how I had them organized. I'll get that. All right. So going down my list here. All right. Then right after this was the main event for me, Transformers. So it's funny. So they already got an absentee bid. You know it, buddy. Oh yeah, the shorter, the better. And then I just play some pickup basketball games and put my boombox down first, and then things are going well. I'll lay some cardboard out, do some breakdancing. So yeah, main event for me, Transformers. So huge G1 lot. Was really excited about it. Um, so again, an absentee bid came in, and the way they played this one out, which is different how they did the other ones, was instead of starting at like, all right, we got this bid in, here we go. They opened it up again. They're like, all right, let's start at 10, and basically the auctioneer played the role of like the absentee bidder. So they're like, all right, who wants to bid 10? I throw my thing up, and it's like, all right, uh, do you have 11? And then the auctioneer turned to her helper, like, do you have 11? Like, uh-huh. Or they were going by 5, so like 15. So then I would go 20. And here, like 25, yeah. So they basically went back and forth like that with me and the kind of like the, just the auctioneer helper playing as the absentee bidder until we had 40. And I was like, all right, I finally cleared 40, which for me was like, that's so good because I was expecting this thing to go a lot higher. So then I was, all right, 42. And then there was nothing. No other bids. And I was like, are you kidding me? I'm going to get this lot for $42. Yes. Yes. So I was like super excited because I was trying to think of like what my high would be. And hey Greco, how is your bro? What's your comic, man? I haven't spoken to him, man, in a while. I interact with Bro, 123 Comic Bro. I don't know if you knew that he existed or they were related because they are. I interacted with him more recently, and I've actually met him in person. He came to Boston a little while ago. Um, so I haven't really talked to Man recently, but I'm sure he's doing fine. Um, all right, so Transformers, right? So, like, guys, I was like literally thinking like I might spend up to $200 on what I'm about to show you. So getting it for 42, I'm just through the roof. Motor City Comic Con was awesome. More so for like the people I went with. Like I love getting together with those guys. Obviously we do our best to kind of keep our friendships going virtually. Through YouTube and Twitter and messaging and stuff. But nothing beats getting to hang out with your posse in person. So always a good time, and super thankful of Scott for making that all possible. All right, here we go. Transformers G1. So we got Skylinks, which this is going to be an upgrade for me because he's not broken, unlike my other one that has a broken leg. And more importantly, he has his bottom. This I haven't seen in the wild forever or ever. So for those of you that aren't familiar, they pretty much. Oh, I think I'm doing it backwards. There we go. That's how he's meant to be, right? So Skylinks is this weird like space shuttle, like feline, uh, like kind of flying weird hybrid. So this isn't perfect, but it's definitely an upgrade for me. He does have a broken leg on the bottom here. I do have the piece, so I might be able to like glue it back together. But that's one part I'll be looking to upgrade. He is battery powered. He does some walking and rolling. I'm not really sure what rolling does, but that wasn't working when I was trying it out. So not a perfect start to this, but so cool. Like this is a figure that's eluded me for the longest time, and now I've seen it in a few different instances. So definitely a great display piece at the very least. So there's that. Um, and I got bags and bags and bags, just like the turtles. So let's just go down the line here. And sorry, I missed some of those comments as that was happening. So here's Hotspot, Fire Truck. He's one of the Protectobots. He forms Defensor. So he's like the main guy for Defensor. I already have one of him. So I haven't gone through this lot with my buddy yet. So there'll be some of these I'll keep for myself. Some will be upgrades. Some will be brand new. Some I'll give to him. Then what's left over we'll use to kind of reinvest. Here is Snaptrap. He's one of the Seacons. And he's another combiner team. He formed Piranacon. So up to this point I already had a Snaptrap, but after this lot I'm a lot closer to Piranacon. Do you sell any figures? Yeah, we do. Like I said, when we go through everything and figure out what we what's left over and what we don't really want, we'll try a few different options. I don't know if you saw it, but no, I don't think I forget where I mentioned it, maybe just Twitter, but we did set up as toy vendors at a toy show last month just to kind of dabble because we had a lot of extra stuff. Wanted to see how that went, and it was actually like super awesome. I wish I was able to film there, but I kind of felt it's one thing when you're on the buyer's side and you're just kind of like running through people's tables and digging and stuff. But if you're like selling and you have like a camera facing people that probably weren't expecting to be filmed or things like that, it's probably a little more awkward. And I didn't want to drive business away or like have the organizer be like, "What are you doing?" So unfortunately, we didn't film that, but we actually did pretty well selling our extra stock. Still have plenty left over. So we might try that maybe like twice a year, selling at shows. But then anything higher end, we'll throw on eBay or if it's something that's like a lot, we'll try like Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist. Some people have contacted me through Instagram to buy things. So, and then there's like Facebook groups. Like I'm a part of a Transformers group. So, plenty of avenues to try to sell things when you want. Here is one of the Dinobots. I always get these guys' names confused. I want to say it's like Sludge because I know he was like the slow moving, methodical one. So this one I think might be an upgrade to the one I have now. I think he's a little cleaner. Chrome's looking pretty good. So can't go wrong with a Dinobot. Always awesome. And as I'm showing you this, keep in mind that I only spent $42. So we're already past the the retail price of 42 bucks. Here's one that's brand new to me that I'm pretty excited about. It's kind of a unique one too. This is Repugnus, I'm pretty sure. If I'm not mistaken, he's a Monstructicon. So I don't know, kind of like these monster looking things. I thought, and he might. I know like the dragon one has a spark function, so I'm not sure if all the Monstructicons do or not. But that's really cool. That's one. It's funny because I actually just saw somebody post this in my Transformers group for sale, and I think this guy alone they were asking like 40 bucks for or something. So brand new to me, very exciting. Just cleaning up a little bit here. Moving on to the next bag. You guys, I really thought I was going to have to fight for this like crazy, but I did not. Let's see. Let me just transform him a little bit here. So not how he's supposed to be, but he's a little more better looking. So here's Mind Wipe. This is one of the headmasters. So, you know, the whole gimmick with the headmasters is that in their robot mode, you like kind of put them away here, then you flip them around, and there's supposed to be another. His head was actually a little transforming robot, so you would put his head there, and then here, like his stats would change, and it would show his speed, strength, and intelligence. So this started coming towards the end of, not the end of the line, because the line went on further and further, but the end of the cartoon, the G1 cartoon that they aired in the States. That's when they first introduced the headmasters. So unfortunately, their heads obviously are things that are missing like all the time. But it's really cool because Mind Wipe. It's funny. It took me the longest time to get a Mind Wipe, and then I found like 3 of them since then. So the other one has a button on his head that you press and sparks. Okay, cool. So I actually didn't like I was still waiting to kind of go through these with my friend before I started like transforming them and messing around with them. So thanks for pointing that out because I will check that out. Here we have a G1 Optimus Prime. Can never have enough Optimuses. Except I already have one, so I guess I have my limits. I know there's a ton of like variants and little slight modifications, but I don't need to get all crazy with I don't need like every single type of Optimus. And the one I have is signed by Peter Cullen, the voice of Optimus Prime. So even though this one looks like it might be in better condition, I'm obviously going to keep the one that's signed. So I keep pointing over here like it's there. It's not there, so you're not going to see it. It's like down here. So this one I'm pretty sure my friend has one too. So this one I'll pretty much sell and potentially almost get like. Obviously I know Grimlock's the T-Rex, and Swoop is the pterodactyl. But like Snarls, Sludge, and which is like super common. Not just the if he's not missing his head, he's always missing his like part of his beak. And and again, it's one of those things where for the longest time I could never find a Swoop, and then I found one, and now this is my like second one. So I'm not sure if I'm going to use this to upgrade mine at all. I don't really want to do a head transplant necessarily, although I've been getting a lot braver with kind of like working with my toys and you know pulling out a screwdriver and just kind of Frankensteining them together. I kind of go into it like pretty cavalier. I'm not too shy around that, and I'm actually pretty happy with the results. Going back to those Seacons I was telling you about, This is another one of them. I think his name's Sea Wing. So he's brand new to me, and then another part to the Piranacon. Um, there's his head. Another part to the Piranacon combiner. And then in this bag are just some accessories. We got like Perceptor, Metroplex, Power Master, Optimus Prime, stuff like that. So I'm gonna throw those back in the bag. Did I mention I only spent $42 on this? Because I got 2 more bags to go. All right, so let's go with this one. I'm showing you a broken Mirage. Yeah, split at the waist point, which happens a lot with these guys. But this is actually my old one. In this lot was an intact Mirage. So I've already thrown him up on the shelf because I don't want to risk anything happening to him. So this is my old one, but I do have now finally an intact Mirage. This is technically my 3rd Mirage. My first one was intact. I actually got that at my very first Motor City Comic Con, but he took a tumble off one of my shelves and broke at the waist. Then I found another one in another lot. He was also broken at the waist. And then finally, this one I got a 3rd shot at Mirage. So hopefully he hangs on just for a little longer. This is a cool one. This is one that's brand new to me. Weird Wolf. This is another Headmaster. So let's see. Yeah. So if I had his head, that's where he would go. So unfortunately, like, again, not that this lot isn't a home run, obviously, but if I got, like, the Headmasters in there, just, like, oh, it would have been amazing. Because, like, some of these figures go, like, crazy complete. Like, $80 plus for one toy. Then some of these are the smaller ones. I don't really, like, I think this is, like, Cinesaur. I think he's supposed to be, like, a Sparky kind of bot. Then I'll have to admit, I don't know offhand all these like mini bots. I know they came towards the end of the line, so they came as like they would group a bunch of like kind of monster truck looking vehicles and call them like the Monster Squad or something. Oh, Wolfman has Nards. I don't know how many will get you that reference. A bunch of planes. They'll call it like the Military Strikes Group, things like that. So got a few of those. Here's another one. Although I didn't really show you the other guys too well. This one almost caused me to like S a B. I don't know how many different combinations you can think of, but for those of you, some of you might hopefully get what I'm saying there. Poop a brick. I guess I don't know. I don't know anything. Anyways, because I thought it was something that it wasn't. So here's what this actually is just a yellow variant of Cliff Jumper, which is normally red, who is voiced by Casey Kasem. So either way, I don't have this. What I thought it was a more rare, what they call Bumble Jumper, I think, or Bumper. And basically it was like this limited, I think it was like a mistake, a factory release of a yellow... Now I'm losing my history here. I think it was like a yellow Cliff Jumper, but in like the red one's packaging or something. But anyways, it was super rare. And what was it? Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting it all messed up. Somebody can fix or Google it and figure it out later. But if it was that one figure alone would be worth over $100. Unfortunately, this is not. But fortunately, I do need it. So that was really cool. And then this is one of the Omnibots, which were mail-away figures. I already have him. He's missing his head. I think it's like Overdrive or something. I was hoping it was Silver Streak, but it's not. And then here's Ravage, one of Soundwave's cassettes. So I'll show you. I'll just transform him really quickly. Look at that. Have I done this before or what? Huh? Oh. Hold on. As I have to fix it. Have I done this before or what? Or what? As it's... There we go. Better. So now he's a cassette. You guys know what a cassette is, right? Yeah. So you play music. So I already have one of him already too. So if my friend doesn't need him, he will be going in the resale pile. And it's definitely a great place when your collection gets to a point where you can buy these lots and really have. Um, Stop using me for my body. We're here for the toys, okay? I know it's hard to get distracted by all this, but um, so anyways, it's great when you get to a point in your collection where you can, throw some money at something, but know that you're going to get it back, or even more so, because you only need a few of those things. All right, last bag of Transformers. $42. $42. Here we have Sunstreaker. Looks to be in good shape. Already got him. There was another Sunstreaker that was busted. He was missing like his head, his windshield. Somebody on Instagram was like, or Facebook was like, oh, I need that for parts. So I already went ahead and shipped him off just for a few bucks. This is just part of Rodimus Prime. It's supposed to have his like trailer, his big hunky trailer there. Another Seacon. This is an octopus squid guy. Ooh, I forget his name. Whatever. So he's just another step closer to having Piranhacon. And then the last Seacon that I got was this guy. So now I have 4 out of 6 Seacons. The Seacons are smaller ones, so it's a 6 robot combiner. Unlike some of them only took 5. But luckily, I have most of the accessories to put them all together too. The only thing I'm missing is the head, but I have the feet, the arms, things like that. So I don't know how much of a lift it'll be to get to that point, but again, I'm not really chasing those things. I don't really need. Whenever it comes to me, it'll be there. I already mentioned I have a ratchet that my wife. I wish my wife was. No, I don't actually. My kid has it in her bed right now, but it's just another part of Ratchet. I'll just sell to somebody for parts. This is one, I forget his name. That's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those pullback guys. I'm pretty sure I needed him. Although I feel like I passed on him before because I thought I had him, but I don't see him. Anyways, I think, is he a Throttlebot? Or is the Throttlebots the small guys? Anyways, he's there. Ripper Snapper. This is part of another one of the combiner teams that forms Abominus. Astro Train. Triple Changer. So he turns into a train, obviously, and then a space shuttle as well. Very cool. I always love the Triple Changers. Speaking of which, here's another one. We got Blitzwing. He turns into kind of this jet and a tank. Looks like this one's missing his turret. So I'll probably sell that for parts. One of the Insecticons here, Kickback. He's busted. Here's one of the Technobots, another one of the combiners. I already have Computron. He used to be up there. He's down here now. I want to say Nose Guy. Nose Man? It's not Nose Man. I forget his name. Some of these are starting to get into like the pieces. Like here's another Constructicon, but he's missing. It's Mixmaster, but he's missing his thing here. I forget where this guy goes to, but he's somebody. He's like a piece to somebody. Like a, I don't know. I have it all listed out somewhere. Oh, here's a random thing. Here's like a Optimus Prime, like rubber. I don't know if he's an eraser or just like a little rubber figure. Here's a little small rubbery Ravage. I started like putting out some of those figures. Sea Spray, which these are a dime a dozen now. Here we got another one of the mini bots. It's not Outback, or maybe it is. Hubcap, maybe? Outback or Hubcap. Another mini guy. I feel like I already pulled one of him out, so I might have two of him. Another little mini guy. Let's see, I forget this guy's name, but he uses the Huffer mold. So they definitely reuse some of the molds as they got down towards the line. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. Just got a few more of the mini ones. So when I finally put these all together, I might have some of those mini teams, like the mini micro teams, kind of put together. So again, that was my second purchase of the night, and getting it for $42 when I thought I would have to be over $100. Just amazing. And if you couldn't tell as I was going through it, like, I'm gonna make money on this lot. So again, it's always great when you're afforded the luxury of being able to buy something up front, take what you need from it, and then sell it to other people that need it. And again, I'm not like, yeah, I sell things, but I'm not like crazy irrational. Like I try to price things like what obviously less than retail, like something that I would think would be fair. So like whenever I can, I try to sell it like locally or through like Facebook, something where people don't have to deal with like fees and premiums and things like that. So I try to like, there's a moral way that I like to be when I try to sell things. But anyways, I don't need to justify anything. Okay, like I said, I'm not a bad guy. All right, so that was Transformers. Just gonna put them back real quick. Man, these live shows are an endurance run, huh? Anyone that watches these things, you're out of your mind. Like, there's no way I can be entertaining for any length of time over a minute. So hopefully you're here for the toys. All right. So moving down the line. This one's kind of a sad tale because I won a Thundercats lot, a small one, but like it had like Mumra in it, a couple of the bad guys. Pretty sure it had a Sword of Omens for Lion-O, which I need to complete mine. And then like a little play set, which I didn't even know existed, which was like a mini play set for some mini figures, and it was the Eye of Thundera, if you Google it. So it's kind of cool. It had like two like kind of like plastic glass doors where if you opened, if you closed it, it showed the Thundercats logo, and you open it up. I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. So I won that for $5, but at the end of the night, when it came to like pick this stuff up, it just disappeared. So I don't know if it got misplaced or if somebody like walked off with it, whether intentionally or unintentionally. I have a hard time thinking that somebody like stole it because I didn't have much competition for this stuff, so I think it would be really weird for something that I won for $5 just to like, walk off like that. I guess it's possible, but yeah, unfortunately that just didn't turn up because and I guess going forward, if I continue to do these auctions, I mean this might just be a kind of like lightning in a bottle type of thing, but I guess I'll be more prepared in that I'll bring more stuff to document what I buy and like the lot numbers, and then instead of having them kind of put things off to the side because it was still kind of out in the open, I'll just take it directly from them and just like, keep it with me at all times. Yeah, I did ask what happened, like, and people were like looking for it. They couldn't find it, so I don't know. It must have. Again, like I said, I have a hard time feeling like somebody took it because of the low price it sold for and the fact that like I was one of the few toy guys there, like or the only toy guy there. But either way, that's not there. Obviously, I didn't have to pay for it. But if they find it, they have my contact info. This next thing was a thing that I'm not really collecting, but I thought it was kind of neat and like I was kind of on a roll. Like I felt like such a big baller as the night was going on because like literally, they would do toy lots, a bunch of toy lots in a row, and I would just be like always be bidding, and they're like sold to number 18, sold to number 18. Um, so I felt like so even though like I wasn't spending like a ton of cash, it was just so funny that like here I am like who's this stranger? We've never seen him at the auction before. I just felt like I don't know. That's what I was playing up in my head. Like, oh, who's this? Mr. Apple. I don't know. No, Mr. Macintosh. What was that? What movie is that from? It was like a Disney movie where the kid, um, I don't know, he has like a blank check, and I think he only took like $1 million, but it was like that made him rich. So he was just buying all these things. I think he called himself Mr. Macintosh. Anyway, so I bought this line just because they were in the boxes and cheap. Blank check. Yes, there we go. So Technozoids here, and then this one's just Zoids. So this one right here is by Kenner, made in it's '94. Okay, so it's not really an '80s toy, but I picked it up because it had the box. The toy is in here. Let's see, motorized construction system. So you basically build in this one a T Rex, and let's see, it's Oz and it's Oz. It's claws. It's jaws. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I just realized in the backs of the box art that there's a little golden man that sits in his little headspace here, and I have them loose in one of the bags here. So now, good to know that's where he actually goes to. So basically, it looks like you build a dinosaur and he walks around, which is pretty cool. So anything with the box and the box art is cool. And then this one that's obviously kind of beat up, but they were together. This is a Sea Striker. Um, I think this one's a little newer. I don't know. 2002. Okay, so I don't know. There was that. So again, box stuff. Didn't really know too much about it. This one also sold for $5, so I picked those up. Again, I don't know. This might just be like trade bait or something, or I mean, I don't know. Maybe I want to keep it. It's would I want to pass up a motorized T Rex? No. No one's gonna mess with me now that I have this. Going to the bar, be like, what? I don't need no ID. Talk to my friend here. So that was pretty cool. Let's see, moving down the list here. All right, so I wish I had this to show you guys, but like I said early on here, that some of this stuff I am splitting with a friend, and he wanted to kind of take home some of the stuff he was most interested in, and kind of see what parts and pieces he needed, and then figure out the rest. So I did buy a Star Wars lot. I did post pictures of it on my Instagram though, grecofabulous, so you can see it there. And we're talking like original Kenner Star Wars. Like I had a Han Solo figure from that was trademark 1977. We had some pieces to like a TIE fighter. We had the little land speeder vehicle. A couple other spaceships. One was like kind of like this like big heavy like U-shaped kind of spaceship. So you Star Trek people. I committed a mortal sin. I called it Star Trek. Oh God, cut the feed. Star Wars. You Star Wars people will know what I'm talking about. It's like a U-shaped kind of ship. And then there was one in the middle. I know it's big white one from pretty sure Empire Strikes Back. But bunch of that like that stuff, and then a bunch of like little mini figures. So, anyways, all of that original Star Wars stuff for $11. So, yeah, check it out on Instagram. You'll see what I'm talking about. I think that's another solid buy right there. And then, man, this would have been killer. I wish I had this to show you, but again, my buddy's a big GI Joe guy. And I think I just posted that today, actually, that picture of it. So GI Joe a lot, mostly vehicles, some figures. So from what I can remember, and again, I'm not a GI Joe guy, so I'm sorry I don't have all the names kind of down. But there was like a big tank that took batteries. So it was a motorized tank. All of these are from the '80s, by the way. It's not like '60s GI Joe. There was a big blue like bombardier plane. Came with a little red pilot guy. So we had the shell of that. That was in there. A big kind of cannon that seemed to like attach to something so you can drag along with it, and also some die cast like mini versions of it. Um, There's some other vehicles too. Oh, the hiss tank that was in there, and then some other vehicles too, right? But then one thing that was like super duper in there and like really exciting, and it was great because I got to see the moment that I thought I had with that bumble jumper. Is the moment that I saw as my friend was going through the lot. So he pulled out this figure and he was like, "Do you know who this is?" And I was like, "No, I have no idea." And it was an astronaut figure, and he had his helmet, and I was like, "Oh, he looks cool." And he's like, "This came with the was it the Defiance or Defiant like space shuttle guy? Like this is one of the pilots." He's like, "This is payload," and he's like, look him up on eBay and stuff. So I'm looking him up, and I'm like seeing it like with the helmet and the suit, like they were selling for like $60. Like if he was like totally complete and had some of the other accessories, it was like over 100. And my buddy was super excited because he needed that figure. And okay, so vehicles aside and everything else that I just tried to describe to you very like poorly, um, if we're looking at that lot as like retail $60, which even though it's more, I paid $2 for it. Okay, you probably want to punch me in the face right now, but like this is how good that auction was. Like it got to the point where it was just me, and like it was just like they kind of got away from toys for a little bit because like I was the only one buying them. And then like towards the end of the night, they're like, "Does anybody want this stuff?" And I was like, "Yes, yes," but they still had to go through like the formalities of being like, "All right, we'll start it at 5." And she's like, "We have a bid at 5," and I'm like, "No." I was like, I know that I asked you to put this up for bid, but I want you to start at 2 because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna win at 2. Um, so yeah, that GI Joe lot was awesome. One thing I'm bummed about is that they had a boxed Joe thing that my buddy really wanted, and again, sorry, I wish I had the name of it, but he was really excited about it. But he kind of set his limit at like $40-ish. And randomly, I think there was some woman who might have been a reseller or had a store like she was going after the box stuff. Like she went after like a Super Nintendo Super Scope 6, if you guys remember that, like kind of like light gun cannon, which I tried to buy that as well because it would have been cool. But she was going after that. She went after this box thing too. So like I was bidding, and I even went up to like 45 to go a little over his threshold. Um, but that wasn't enough. She ended up winning it, which is too bad because I felt like I failed my buddy, even though he kind of gave me his range. But I wish that's why I wish he would have been there because then he could have gone higher if he wanted to. So at this point, I'm just looking at my list, and it got pretty generic after a while. Like instead of saying exactly what was in there, it just ended up being like toy lot, toys, blah blah blah. So I'm just gonna start pulling things that I haven't shown you yet, and kind of give you a rough idea of what I paid for it. So here is a Voltron lot. So in the pictures, I thought these were bigger, but they're like little mini Voltrons. I don't know if these are the motorized ones. They do have some wheels here in the bottom. So this is like a black line. I was hoping this was like the bigger versions because even though I have a standing Voltron back there, the GB 36 one, the one that people like, because it's one of the older ones. My black line's in rough shape, so I was hoping this would have been an upgrade, but this is a smaller version here. I don't see a date. Oh, here we go. Let's see, LJN Toys. Actually, there's not a date on here, so I'm still gonna say 80s. But hey, buddy, you're tuning in for all my live shows. I feel like I'm losing people. The comments there have kind of gone disappeared. But anyways, here's another Blue Lion. Oh man, that's awful. Somebody stole your stuff. My wife always warns me about these things. She's like, "You want to show people all your toys, and then like, she's like, well, through the magic of the internet, like, people are gonna find out where you live and just take all your stuff. Please don't." That's all I got to say. Just don't take this away from me. I need it. Um, so here's a blue lion right there. Again, it looks like they still combine. So let's have to look up what they're actually from. They made so many different types of Voltrons. And then here's the red lion. So they came all together. Um, here's the red pilot. This is from the Panache series playset. So he don't have any of those. And then I don't know if this is technically Voltron. It's not the the lions that you're used to seeing, but I saw this posted in a Voltron group that I'm a part of, and it might be just another one of those um, kind of like that series, but not like the the lion face Voltron that we're all kind of familiar with. I know they made some kind of more like mechanical looking ones, like a vehicle Voltron and blah blah blah. But I'm pretty sure that is in that kind of same family. Facebook is an amazing place. I'm part of a Voltron group. I'm part of a substance abuse group, Transformers group. There's groups for everything. There's people like me out there, and I can find them all. Um, so, anyways, that's all the Voltron related stuff I got. Again, I'm pretty sure I got that for somewhere between $2 and $4 total. So, I mean, when you're starting to add this stuff up, it's literally getting a lot of these things for 10 cents a piece. It's crazy. Um, let's see. These were all mixed together, but just to show you some lines of toys that I don't really collect. But let's get some hair off of him. Not sure if that came from me or my dogs or previous owner, but this guy is from Silverhawks. Kind of cool looking. You can do a little $6 million man here and look through his eye. It's kind of like a magnifying glass. So he's part of Silverhawks. And I got this random Silverhawk guy right there. So Silverhawks isn't really a toy line that I collected, but this is kind of a cool figure. And then I know that this is one of the wings to one of the figures as well. So again, he kind of came in a mixed lot of stuff. So just kind of separating them into little baggies here. And this is good because it adds some variety to my channel. You guys like Visionaries? Because I got some of those. These are cool. They have the little holograms on their chests here. Pretty sure it's Visionaries, right? Do I know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to figure out what this guy is. I don't know. His hologram's a little funky. I don't know. Looks like it has sharp teeth, whatever it is. Then I actually have two of these guys from the same lot, but my daughter took one of them. So here's him. And he's cool. He has a cheetah. He has a cheetah on his chest. So I think it looks like, I don't want to risk it, but it looks like those are interchangeable, so you can kind of do whatever you want. Do I do trades? I have done trades in the past. It's just one of those things where you do have to be a little extra cautious with it. Because unlike when you're selling or buying things, if you're using PayPal or a credit card through PayPal, you have some protections in place. So with trades, it's one of those things where you either have to know the person or have somebody vouch for them, or I guess if I was doing a trade with a complete stranger on the internet, I would do one of those things where kind of put not the risk, but I know I'm an honest person and I will send you your stuff, but I don't know you, man, so you put your stuff out first, and then when I get it, I'll send you mine, that sort of thing. I don't know. I mean, I'm open to ideas because I don't want to close off the other collectors out there. I'd like to think we're all, copacetic and in it to kind of help each other out. But unfortunately, I've heard horror stories about that. So, I mean, I'm open to suggestions. But yeah, I was gonna say if I was trading with a complete stranger, I would kind of ask them to take the first step and send me my side of the trade first, because I know it's a risk on their end, but I know in my heart of hearts that I'm a good boy. Let's see here. This might be fun. This is just a random grab bag here. Oh, cool. That kind of flew quickly, but I'll review the comments. It sounds like you might be up for something. Um, so this I just threw in a bunch of random toy lines that were in these mixed lots. They were kind of just identifiable and kind of cool. So this guy is from Robin Hood, the live action movie with Kevin Costner. And if I'm going too fast, let me know, and I'll put some of these guys back up here. This guy, I believe his name is IQ. He's from the James Bond Jr. cartoon, which I actually did watch randomly. I feel like it came around the same time as Captain Planet, so it was probably like some kind of block. So he has his little lab coat. Um, Looks like he has some like kind of gun, little secret gun there. I don't know if something else is supposed to attach to it, but so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not getting into James Bond Jr. toys by any means. This is neat. This is actually a little wind-up Snoopy dog from Peanuts. And the neat thing about it is that it's from like 1966. So it's not really worth anything, but like financially. But it's one of those things where I think I'm just gonna. I wasn't looking for it, but I think it's just kind of cool to have because I don't really have 60s toys. I'm more of an 80s 90s kid. I'm an adult. Um, 33 years old. But that's really cool. I think I might just hang on to him. Let's see. Here we got kind of a Care Bear. It's kind of sticky. I should probably wash these guys. There's there's that. I was trying to think of a joke that wasn't. I was trying to think of an Irish joke that wasn't. That wouldn't have said anybody, but I can't do it. Here's Silver Surfer. So now we're getting into the 90s. It looks like yep, 1990 exactly. Got a Silver Surfer figure right there. This is a guy that would have gone to that Thundercats mini playset if it didn't disappear on me. So he would have been playing in that Eye of Thundera little mini playset. Vet Care Bear looks like he has one eye. I thought he was winking, but yeah, he might have got his eye gouged out. You never know. Here is a GoBot, but GoBots are trash, so. Biker Mice from Mars. I don't remember if I actually watched the cartoon, but just like another cool thing to have and just remember for a split second. And then the real reason I bought that one random lot where all these things kind of came in was because I needed me some Inspector Gadget, huh? How about that? Inspector Gadget. So again, Gadget, love the cartoon. This is my first kind of foray into the Inspector Gadget line because these guys are expensive from at least from what I've seen. They're not really readily available out in the wild, anyways. I don't know, I'm sure on eBay they're available, but when I have noticed them, they've been expensive. But all the ones I've seen are still sealed, so that's probably why. But I really like the cartoon, and I do think Inspector Gadget is something I will want to collect. Probably has to do with again that my attraction to like mechanical kind of robotic things and spy gadgets and things like that. So this one was made. I don't think it's the original run, but '92 from Tiger. It says. Oh, I used to always laugh. If you remember the end of the production company that made Inspector Gadget was DIC. It was like Deke. Hi CJ. I got Inspector Gadget. So I used to always laugh at the end of the cartoons because it was like, Deke. um, so this one has little extendy legs, but only one of them kind of stays in place. So I don't know. Whatever. Do you wash your stuff after you get it home? So normally I do. With like some Clorox wipes like that, give them a little rub down. But we actually ran out recently and I didn't re up. So everything I'm touching now has years and years of just like disgustingness all over it. So luckily I'm not a germaphobe, but it's getting a little sticky in the fingers here. And not in the good way. But yes, normally I do wipe them down. So that was kind of a uh, random smattering. Let's see. In here, I've got some Ghostbusters stuff. Oh, sorry, totally missed whatever that big long comment was. Just some random Ghostbusters kind of accessories. So I have to figure out what these all go to. I know this one is a seat to the Ecto 1. I already have a complete Ecto 1, so I'll use that. Here's another guy. Again, Ghostbusters, love the show, love the movie, love the cartoon, love the toys. But realistically, I don't need like every little thing to come out of the Ghostbusters line. So I think I'm mostly happy with the actual original Ghostbusters, Janine, Slimer, Stay Puft, the Firehouse, the Ecto One. So actually, as far as Ghostbusters stuff is concerned, I'm pretty close to everything I want. So it's at this point, it's mainly like I still need the proton packs and the neutrino wands for like the actual little figures, and any little like ghosts that came with them. But then after that, it's a lot of like the role playing stuff. So I actually have the wearable proton pack and trapper and that sort of stuff. But maybe some of the other secondhand or lesser known stuff is what I would care about. But I try to limit my stuff to not needing every single thing in a line unless it's like a short line, like those bone figures that I showed from the last flea market video. Like that, I would just collect the whole run of because it's unique characters that I care about, and it's not every single one, and they're all like main characters. So the next thing I'm going to show is and I think I'm getting close to the end because man, an hour and a half, gross. Um, you guys like Mask? So I have a lot of mask stuff. It was a big mask lot. And I actually have them here with me, so it's not just going to be something I'm talking about without showing you guys, which I feel bad about. Um, so here, and again, I'm not a mask guy, so I don't know the names of these offhand. But hey, Gamer Man, somebody was just talking about you earlier in this video. They wanted to know if we're still friends, so you can answer that, buddy. Um, so he. We have a little family reunion. So Mask, I didn't really know it growing up, but got a huge lot of them, and as I was kind of like messing with them, I kind of grew. I was like, oh, I can see why people really like this stuff because again, it's kind of like Transformers in that there's more than meets the eye, and there's all these like hidden compartments and things, weapons busting out of vehicles and things like that. So it's kind of cool. I don't think I'm going to hang on to them to answer your question. So I'll show you everything I got here. So here's this little jet thing. This is Venom. So that's the bad guys. I do know that. So some of these are just shells. There's some pieces here. Again, this one here is like a little... Wow. If I'm keeping you from school and sleep, I think you're making a bad decision. I am not that entertaining. So here is the like an Indy car. Again, it's kind of missing half of it, but again, these things like a push of a button, they would snap off and things would totally happen and just like total like spy stuff, like really cool. So I'm kind of like surprised that I wasn't into it as a kid. I don't know if I just wasn't exposed to it or what. Here is another like dune buggy kind of thing. That's all I got for you. Dune buggy. Yeah, definitely hit me up. I forget where you follow me. I know YouTube Messenger is kind of like iffy, so if you follow me on like Twitter or like Instagram, Twitter is probably the better communication service of the bunch, so I would go with them. Here's this guy, Sell me your comics. It's funny that you mentioned that because I do have a bunch, and again, I'm not trying to. I know the comic thing is a joke that I'm always like making fun of like my subscribers. Um, that like I used to be a comic guy and then I moved on, but realistically, there are some I just don't care about, and I don't know like right now they're just in storage, and I don't like just I don't know what the right way to go about actually selling them is because like comics are tough because like yeah you can sell them locally, but then like I'm not like I said I'm not an expert, so just like kind of work through the condition. Like condition's tough, especially if you're selling like on eBay or something where someone's not there, because it's all subjective, right? So um, it's uh it's just tough because I have a lot. Like I have a lot of Deadpool and like although I appreciate the movies, I don't know if I care about the comics as much. And I don't know if I'd read them in single issues anyways. Got two of these by the way. Um, so this one I kind of know what to do with. Let's see. All right. So again, mild mannered car, right? No big deal. You know, just Vanessa on the plates. But then with a flick of a button, is it this one? So, oh, hold on. I kind of had my finger on. There we go. So the wings pop out like that. Let's see what else happens here. If I pull this out, get some turbo boost. Let's see. And there was something else. Was it this one? Oh yeah, and that pops out too. So again, like I said, pretty cool. Pretty much a transformer, right? So I was like, oh, this is pretty neat. Really surprised that I was not into that. Let's see, you got like another mask stock car here. So this is a big lot. I think one of you might have mentioned this place set, part of it anyways. This is like a toll booth collector, which turned into like a whole thing. Again, none of these aren't complete or anything, but still pretty cool. I'm just gonna throw those back in the box. Real quick. Let's see, where's the actual bag? Oh, here we go. Still got this, so we're not doing masks just yet. Let's see, this was something. I think this folded up. So again, some of these are just parts. That was another thing right there. I think one of you might have mentioned the crate little playset thing here. So mild mannered crate. So there's that. Here's that gas station, or part of it anyways, that somebody had just mentioned. So again, like really cool little kind of like ingenious play sets. Here's a little motorcycle guy. Got another one, but this one's missing a few more pieces. Let's see. Part of like a dune buggy or something here. What am I on the lookout for? You know, I mean, the lines that I cared about are obviously like Transformers. I mean, pretty much Ninja Turtles stuff, Sailor Moon, Voltron, doing some RoboCop stuff, Space Coast Coast to Coast. I'm almost complete on. Um, what else is there? Power Rangers, some like early Power Rangers stuff, like kind of first, second season ish. I wouldn't go beyond like White Ranger. Like I would do the original and the original Megazord, but nothing beyond that. Um, for you Power Ranger fans, there's a little teaser. I have another lot that I'm going to show, not in this video because we're way too long. And then just other like random cool robotics things. Like I got this like Tiger 2XL robot, like things like any kind of robots. Uh, I have a fondness for. So for toys, like I think that covers me. There's always like some random line here or there that I didn't know about, or something like the bone figures that I alluded to. Like those are cool and something I would want. Um, but yeah, other than that, that's pretty much my how my bread is buttered. When are you going to stop the stream? Yeah, I think this is overtime, buddy. Um, as soon as I'm done, I think I'm actually pretty close to being done. I think after mask, it's just like a random parts kind of thing. So, anyways, showing you this. I do probably need to wrap this up, so maybe I'll go to speed mode here. But I'll start showing you some little guys. I don't know how detailed they're gonna be on the live stream here, but I saw that Mr. Mix over there was pretty excited. Thanks, buddy. Um, there's Vanessa. She's a bad guy. She drove that car. That was pretty sick. And I only know these names because I looked them up. I know like Matt Tracker is kind of a name in there. These are gross. These need to be cleaned up. I forget his name. He probably has some really stereotypical racist, Indian name or Native American name. Because, sign of the times. Oh, I found these out. This is not Mask, and I'm glad I found them. This is Dino Riders. So, again, I don't think my camera's focusing, so maybe I'll just put them over here. So this is a Dino Rider guy, so I'll keep him off to the side. Also a Dino Rider guy, so I'm going to keep him alone as well. But, I mean, same like scale as the other ones, and they were in the same lot. Let's see, I think there's all these different variations of characters, so I think that's another Matt Tracker. I know this guy went with the collector booth, I believe. Baldy McNohair. So many figures. He went with, I think, one of those motorcycles or something. As far as like what my research told me. Oh, Miles Mayhem. I think he's like the main bad guy. So I have a few of him. It's another bad guy wearing his leather jacket and his grenade strapped to it. That's hardcore. Probably any blonde guy. I'm thinking is Matt Tracker. He has his belt. I don't know. That's his belt. It's rare. $100 at least. $100 figure. This guy. What do you do all these toys? There's so many. So like I said, a lot of these toys. So basically, since I went through the trouble of actually going to this auction and getting them all, here's the one guy with an actual helmet, hence mask. So since usually my friend and I work well together, so since I went through the trouble of getting it, like I kind of have first dibs. And we don't really have we have some overlapping interests, but like I said, he's more of a G.I. Joe guy, and I'm primarily like Transformers. So, we kind of know not to step on each other's toes there. So even if I thought like something G.I. Joe was cool, I wasn't gonna take it from him. But usually it's like whoever went through the trouble of getting it has first dibs. So I'll go through, pick out what I want. I said he already came by and grabbed like the Joe and Star Wars stuff to kind of pick through. There's another Miles Mayhem. Um, so we'll see what we need, what our upgrades, kind of work our way through that, and then we'll just figure out what we have extra or what we don't really have, um, interest in keeping, and then that we'll use to uh, sell or trade with other collectors through a variety of means. I've already mentioned like toy shows or Facebook groups or Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, eBay, any of that stuff that are just different avenues to connect with different collectors. And again, the goal is always to just recoup our money so that we can just reinvest it. Although in some situations you do end up making money, which is always nice as well. So that's kind of how we justify the collecting and the hobby, is that it's something that pays for itself. Here's a little boy. I think he came with a robot. And then I just some random pieces like this goes with somebody. Yeah, I mean if you have a Scott Tracker, that's right. Yeah, yeah, Mr. Mix. If you have a, I'm gonna say if you have one transformer, that will help. So I mean that's the plan, anyways, right? To do all that. Sorry, I just totally missed whatever somebody just said. So we're getting to the finish line. I mean, I ended up with a bunch. This is like a box of random stuff that I either doesn't really fit into anything we've done, or like I don't really have an interest in. Um, can anybody help me out with this guy? It might be hard to see because he's kind of beat up, and um, you can't really get great detail on these live streams. But this is a rubber figure. It looks like kind of like a half man, half machine kind of thing. I want to say it's like He-Man or one of those random figures, even though it's more futuristic. Kind of has a jet here. Looks like he has like a claw for a hand. They probably made like an actual like hard plastic figure of him. I just happen to have a little. If that'll focus. Cool. No, yeah. I mean, we'll connect and I'll whatever. Centurions. Are you home alone? I'm actually not home alone, which is why I'm starting to feel bad because like my wife's probably like, I want to go to bed. um, so he's in there. Random like Happy Meal toys. Like this is a Happy Meal that turned into a dinosaur, right there. They're like Happy Meal shake soda guy. I think this is called Mick Diabetes. I'm not sure about this guy, just some random thing. It looks like it could be like from Ghostbusters, but maybe not. There's that. Um, Again, like Genie. Like, they still do Happy Meal toys. Not like, I don't think they do like sponsored ones, right? They're just like generic, like, here's some crayons and like a 2-page coloring book. This was kind of cool. I didn't know what this was, and I actually figured it out. Weed Killer from Swamp Thing. Oh, cool. See, like all these random toy lines. And that's why I like doing these live streams too. You guys give me the answers that I'm missing. This is from, I don't know if I should delay it or not, but this is from Battlestar Galactica, like 1977 Mattel. I think it was called like the Colonial something. So it's obviously a spaceship, right? Is it book right? I thought it was Battlestar Galactica, or maybe you're guessing. Um, but anyways, this is a cool find because again, it came in like a mixed lot that I got for like a couple bucks. And again, it's not all about the money, but if he had his like little like windshield here, like potentially looking at like 30 bucks. And if it was a complete, like on eBay, someone sold for like 85. It was like crazy. And again, I don't really know. These might just be knockoffs. Some robots. I mean, we're starting to get into like kid toys now. Not these adult toys like before, like Mask and Transformers and Ninja Turtles, for serious people. Now we're into like the baby stuff. So I don't even know what this guy is, but he's in there. You guys remember that TV show Dinosaurs? This is another like toy, a Happy Meal toy. Here's part of like an alien figure, which is totally cool looking. I don't really know what it is though. Not the mama. Um, looks kind of newer, and it actually like has a little alien thing sticking out of there. But it looks like it's just like a shell to something. But I don't know if you guys are into alien figures. Can tell me where that's from. Yeah, little snake alien Kenner. Kenner, really? Ooh, 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 ooh. That's me right now. Ooh. Speaking of aliens, there's an Independence Day guy. He's missing some of his tentacles in the back, but kind of a cool figure right there. Then just some like random stuff. Like this is like an electronic like tank, which it still works. I don't know how long the batteries have been in here. I was about to put that in my mouth so you could see it in action, but the tracks are going there, so that still works. I don't know what this is. This is another battery-powered army vehicle. It says 83 OBS toys. Sorry, 85. So I don't know if that's actually something or not. There's no G.I. Joe on it, so it's not that. I got some like, I'm not going to show them because I don't care, but I got some like army models too, but I'm not really into that. But just happened to be on a shelf with that G.I. Joe tank I alluded to before. And so I just had to buy the whole thing. I don't know. Clifford, the big red dog. So again, for all the stuff I got that I cared about, there's also a bunch of like random stuff that. But it's always fun to dig through the lots. There's just like a bag of parts that I got to figure out. If anything, I know some of it does go to turtles and stuff. So there was that, and then the one thing I again went with my friend that I didn't talk about just yet was a Castle Grayskull, and a couple of He-Man or Masters of the Universe figures. So I had the shell of Castle Grayskull, and inside of it, which I didn't know about, there was like his dad was kind of hanging upside down by his foot. They had a little like string that you like captured people with. And then that like blue falcon thing. You guys know falcons? Yeah, just like that. He was in there too. So that one I got into a little bidding war with somebody, and I had to cough up $6 to buy that. Do you guys like knowing what I pay for things, or does it make you resent me? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm not saying it to brag. I'm saying it because I know as a buyer, like I appreciate when people share what they're able to get things for, because like it gives me an idea of like what the possibilities are potentially of finding it myself for that price, or what's realistic. Um, so again, I know I'm super thrilled with how this auction ended up. Like I mean, I paid like $100 and got all this stuff pretty much, and um, but I know, like I don't, like I said, it's not to brag or like to shove it in people's faces. It's to just to kind of like just to be transparent with everybody. Like, hey, this is like what you could potentially get it for. So like, if you think you have to throw tons of money at stuff, like that's not necessarily the case. Depending on how bad you want and how patient you are. Um, so, but then on the second hand, like I said, I do resell and trade things. So I know that like that can be misinterpreted because like I can be like, you know, oh, somebody that's watching this video, like, but there's like, mask guy. You can be like, oh, I know you only paid so and so for it, but why are you asking for this? I know that can get a little hairy. But on the same token, I try to be fair with people that buy or trade things for me. Like I'm definitely not gonna look for like top dollar by any means. But it's not when we buy these lots. Yeah, it's great to get the things we want, but we're not trying to like break even either. Like I said, we're trying to like, I mean, the goal is to at least break even, but if there's definitely, the ability to go up beyond that, I mean, we're going to take advantage of it, right? So it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't make me a bad person or like a scumbag reseller or anything like that. It's just the reality of it. But again, I think I said like my idea of what I would sell or trade to people for are less than others. So hopefully that's recognized, right? Um, Anyways, so my first auction, huge success, probably lightning in a bottle. I really doubt that it's gonna happen again or this often or be so easy, frankly. Like I said, I'm really surprised that I didn't have much more competition. But there were people there that were like spending hundreds and hundreds on like Commodore 64s and Commodore 128s and old disk drives. So there definitely seemed to be more of a video game crowd. Um, and then kind of like your older crowd that was wanted to buy antiques because it was definitely a mixed auction. It wasn't just toys. Like people were spending like $300 on like industrial fans from the 50s and things like that, which is cool to see on my end. But like it got a while where like it was getting a little few and far between with the toys, and I'm just like, ugh, I've been here for like 2 hours. Get me out of here. But super fun to be a part of. I'm definitely gonna be on the lookout for more auctions. And I'm just glad that it happened because it's been it's moments like these that make up for the dry spells, and it's great that like I said, for me, patience pays off and all that. So, anyways, I've been talking for way too long. This is like a feature length movie with like except no production value, and if you're entertained by this, like bless you. There's a reason why I edit my videos, and it's because that's the only way I can be uh, just endurable by any means. Okay, wow, retro. I think you were here from the beginning, so thank you. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Um, I think I just bore myself mainly. I think that's the problem. I'm my own worst critic. So I wish there weren't toys out here because I totally would have done a spit take just then. Oh, you know what? I'll show. You know how I mentioned those models, like army models? Oh, it's not like that's. There's a. I mean, they're cool and all, but they're really like flimsy. Corgi, that's boxed at least. But there's like these dioramas where it's like, here's like a busted like, military vehicle. It's cool and all, but it's kind of glued. Oh yeah, I'll put on the mask for you. Um, so it's cool. I did feel kind of bad though because there was one guy. There was like 4 shelves of like military models. Um, And I felt bad because there was a guy that bought shelves 1, 2, and 3, but the fourth one just happened to have the models plus that GI Joe tank. And my buddy was like, "Oh, if you can get it for $10, get it." And that's what I got it for. Like I should have just like left them there, or told the guy he can have them because I'm not gonna do anything with them, and they're like falling apart. Um, or I should like if I could, I should have been like, "Hey, let's like collude a little bit, like." Let's not drive the price up on each other. You can have it for $5, and I'll just take the the GI Joe tank. But it did not work that way. All right, so let's see. I feel. See, I was Raphael when we started. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. And again, probably should have washed these before I gave myself pink eye. See, these used to be these used to be knee pads. Now they're going to be elbow pads, hopefully. Oh, this is cool. That's easy. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Why am I grabbing it by the blade? Heroes in a half shell, turtle power. Huh? Who wants to come over and play? Play with me! Alright. Can't see. Can't see with my glasses. Jinkies. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I think I found my new Halloween costume. Ooh. Oh, I'm blind again. Okay. Okay. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you later. Okay. Bye. Boop.